In this video, I'm rolling with Gill again. Gill is featured in another video entitled Rolling with a 4-Stripe White Belt. And another video, I forget the title, I will put both links in the description. But that video got a lot of views. And now he has graduated or earned his blue belt. So I have his collar. I'm being loose and, dare I say, playful. Some guys are so stiff that it makes me wonder how they can even be enjoying jiu-jitsu. It's like rolling with a statue. The problem with being stiff is it makes you tired much quicker, and it allows your opponent to climb all over you because you're static.
Is that your latte?
It's much easier to climb a wall than it is a rope. I'm not sure about that, but it's probably easier. So I have his collar. I know I have my foot on his hip, and I have my right leg blocking his attempt to move left if he desired. So I'm connected. I'm looking for the collar choke here. I almost had it. See, I have to bring him down to my level or go up to his level. Or I could have used it to sweep him. But I'm not looking at it as a competition, so my mind isn't racing like that. I'm really just trying to feel the position, his weight, his pressure. And I'm trying to counter that with frames that equal out. So he never addressed my collar grip. So that really makes it easy to stay with him. In no-gi, I'd have to pull him down by his neck, and he's slippery. He's putting on a lot of lotion before class at the YMCA. So I'm letting him grab my wrists. Because as you know, I'm pretty good at wrist fighting. But I know that even if he controls both wrists, I'm confident enough to get my legs inside. And I don't even need my hands to frame. So again, I have his collar. He needs to try to break that grip. Yes, you can pass the guard if somebody has your collar. But for a newbie, it just adds more complication into something that is already very complicated. That was pretty good. He tried to sit on my butterfly hook and pass left, but done in a sloppy way with so many nuances, I don't have time to address them. So I'm always looking at collar sleeve here. As you could see, I almost swept him. He did a good job defending. So he's on my butterfly hooks. I've heard people comment that I can't sweep someone off my back, but I could push his knee with I could take a hook out and push his knee. And when he's on his knees laying down in that position, it's easy to sweep him. Years ago, whenever somebody looked at a camera, they would always say, "Hi, Mom." I don't know how, if that happens anymore. So here I'm trying to fish out a Kimura. Again, he's very strong, and he knew it was coming. So I'm trying to flank now. I went from one arm to the other side to try to get outside of his arm. I have my knee shield. I'm using very little effort. Another point I would like to address, people are worried about doing extra for cardio. See, this is a great example. He thought the round was over, and I said, no, we're doing 2 rounds. And he was almost begging not to. So this is my point. You don't need to work on cardio. You don't need to run 6 miles a day. Even though my classmate Juan told me he ran 8 miles the other day, which is very impressive because Juan's 55. But the point is, if you use the proper framing and technique, you'll use much less energy and you'll stay safer because you won't be really tight all the time. When you're really tight, it leads to injury. When you're loose, it's harder to become injured. So the more skill you have, the less cardio required. And as you go up the belt ranks, you'll see. You roll with a new white belt, it doesn't really take much effort. But we want to spread that technique out. So Haja Gracie, when he won Abu Dhabi, I believe, he was training with all white belts. He had a new school in London, and he was training with all white belts. And he was able to improve based off experimenting on them. Experimentation. And his game was very simple and extremely effective. So here he's trying to peel my hooks. I'm threatening the sweep, but as you can see, I'm breathing with my mouth closed, 6 minutes in. Believe me, I'm no cardio machine. When you learn to let your body go completely loose, you'll realize that you save so much energy. There's different levels of tension, isometric tension. So there, before he could peel my guard, I switched to my collar and foot on the hip. Most of this roll, I'm just trying to slow him down. If I wanted to really keep up with him, maybe I'll get, 5 or 6 submissions in 5 minutes, and then at the end, I'll have to crawl away from this roll. And I don't want to put myself under that type of stress. Faraz Zahabi says, when you work out, you should be able to train in a manner that you can train again tomorrow. And if you don't watch him, look up TriStar Gym. The man's a genius. So, and a ton of experience. So there he almost tapped from the reverse armbar. I didn't want to really pull on it. I didn't know the tap was that close. I couldn't see his hand under my butt. So here I'm pulling his head off the mat because it stops him from bridging, and it's annoying. There I'm covering his mouth just to show him it's there. And the reason I do that is if I could cover your mouth very comfortably like that, that means you could get punched in the face in that position. So your jiu-jitsu should have some urgency. You never want to lay there comfortable in that position and get used to that when you're training, because in a real altercation, you will be eating punches and your head has nowhere to go but the floor. So there I was peeling his elbow away from his body, which I did a really good job, and then he did a good job with a major hip bump, and he was able to bring his elbow back. But here I'm starting to do it again. See, this is what Haja Gracie finishes everybody with the mounted choke. So I really need to, that's my next goal outside of footlocks, is to improve that and learn how to get that mounted choke without getting swept over, because both your hands are occupied. So here I'm looking to get an easy wrist lock, but he's, very strong. He's a sanitation man. We call them New York's strongest. The cops are New York's finest. The fire department's New York's bravest. And they're called that for a reason. Every sanitation worker I've rolled with is extremely strong. I wonder why. So there I had the Americana, but he did a huge hip bump and I let go of it. It was like riding a mechanical bull. So there, I could have had the armbar all day. I'm not sure what I was thinking. There's some type of wrist fight going on the other side. But it's always interesting to watch these videos because I promise you the next time I'm in that position, I'm gonna remember there's an armbar there. So as you can see, if somebody pushes up with their arm, it's really kind of easy to armbar them. So I took it eventually, but that was in a different position. That didn't really end the round, it's still going. So I remind him that there's 10 seconds left. But again, look at the difference. A younger, more conditioned athlete who's out of breath and doesn't want to continue, essentially. But I just want to thank everybody for watching. If you find value in my content, feel free to support the channel. I have a spread shop, and you could buy me a coffee. Both links are in the description. Again, I wouldn't exist without all of you, so thank you so much.